The Tennessee Titans desperately need a stretch of some normal situations. I'm talking some real boring, run-of-the-mill, standard operating procedure football game circumstances. Because each week so far this year, at least one bizarre situation pops up that makes them look shockingly incompetent. And as is the case with most seemingly unexplainable things in life, there's usually a backstory that clears things up a bit. The Titans got booed relentlessly as they ran into the halftime tunnel in week 3, in large part thanks to how mismanaged their last offensive sequence was. If you're part of the Tennessee faithful, you know just how many years the Titans have shaved off your life with the emotional roller coaster of sports. Or maybe the roller coaster of life is messing with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals. The new year is a blank space for you to write a new story. BetterHelp makes it easier to get started. They are our incredible sponsor for this video. Regardless, if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools you need to approach your life in a very different way. That's where our sponsor, BetterHelp, comes into play. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost if it's not the right fit. BetterHelp's platform makes finding a therapist easier because it's online and remote. BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. Plus, with our link, you get 10% off your first month. Start fresh any day of the year with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/ATOZ sports and get 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. On 3rd and 2 from the Colts' 40-yard line, the Titans ran the ball for 1 yard. It's 4th and 1 now, and the Colts call a timeout to preserve the game clock as they're hoping to get the ball back before half. The Titans spent that timeout debating whether to kick or to go for it on 4th down, and they didn't come to a decision in time. So they called their own timeout immediately after the Colts timeout came to its conclusion. They continued to discuss, and their timeout expires. They eventually settle for taking a 57-yard field goal try, but then they take a delay of game because the wrong football is in the game. Kickers are using special K-balls now, which are conditioned differently from regular quarterback balls. As Titans special teams coordinator John Fossil explained to us on Tuesday, quote, the difference between a K-ball and kicking a quarterback ball is significantly, I can't say it enough, how different it is to kick a quarterback ball compared to a K-ball, end quote. Fossil said that he'd rather take as much as a 15-yard penalty and still kick than to settle for kicking a quarterback ball. It's that big of a deal, especially from long range. So the delay of game backed them up 5 yards to make the attempt a 62-yard field goal, and it's missed. Then the Colts take over, they gain a couple of quick yards, and they nail their own field goal attempt before halftime, and it's a 6-point swing that every fan watching is righteously furious about. Now, am I here to tell you that actually the Titans got secretly screwed on this sequence and are totally blameless? Absolutely, positively, no, I am not. They bungled this in a big fat way. It was an awful, awful moment for the coaching staff. The true crime here was being so indecisive in the first place. The fact that they even needed a timeout to decide what to do on 4th and 1 is bad enough, if you ask me. There's a clear go situation here in my book. You're not going to field goal the Colts to death. It's 1 yard beyond the midpoint of the field. The offense was driving. You needed 1 yard. Sack up, go out swinging, run the ball, get the yard. All right, fine. You really trust your kicker from 57? Okay, the fact that you spent not just 1, but then 2 timeouts waffling on whether to put him out there, that's downright pathetic. It can't happen. Where it turns out the Titans didn't necessarily mess up here because they messed up the decision in the first place. They messed up how long it took them to make the decision in the first place. It was the delay of game. And it looks like they may have been screwed over by the refs, especially after talking to John Bones Fossil about it this week. Now, this kick obviously had no impact on the result in this game. It was not remotely close in the end. It just does sound like something the Titans should probably get clarification from the league on so that it doesn't happen to them again. Listen to this exchange with John Fossil from Tuesday. It was very eye-opening to me. We started by asking him what the timeline was on the K-ball situation in the first place. He said, quote, Morgan Cox knew right away. Johnny Hecker, the punter, you can see him trying to push the play clock to get the quarterback ball out because we came on, it wasn't coming. And then Morgan Cox was standing over it, knowing it was a quarterback ball, trying to get the K ball in. It just wasn't coming. And it could have been that we were a little bit late or the officials didn't feel like they had enough time to get it in. I don't really know. I just know that we didn't get it in, so we took the delay, end quote. Then we asked him what the difference is for the refs, whether the ball gets in early or late in the play clock. He said, quote, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. My hope would be, even if there's 17 seconds to go, the K ball can get in there. And if the whole operation takes us into a delay of game, that's on us, but get the ball in there because we can snap the ball within 3 seconds after it's spotted. So I don't know the officials, what their time is. I haven't had a memo or had this happen before, so I don't know what time on the play clock do they not accept the K ball being introduced into the game, end quote. So we asked him to clarify if he would like a clarification from the league on this. He said, sure, yeah. And then to clarify further, we asked if he had ever had this happen to him or seen it happen to another team. Nope, he said. So what about waiting that long into the play clock to make the kick in the first place? Have you done that before? Have you waited until it may be a little bit too late or as late as it was on Sunday? Quote, yes, we practiced that at the stadium on Wednesday with Johnny Hecker and Joey and Morgan and practice all the situations, clock running out, late decisions, field goals. We practiced that stuff. So that wasn't unusual to us by any stretch, end quote. I don't know how else to read that besides the officials subjecting the Titans to a situation that is not supposed to happen. At the very least, the communication between the refs and the team broke down in a way that's unacceptable. John Fossil has been around the NFL specializing in this phase of the game for 20 years. If he hasn't had the refs do that to a team of his or seen it happen to another team that he's been around before, I'm inclined to believe him. It makes that whole messy situation in week 3 a little less confusing and slightly less incompetent. But I sure hope the Titans got a clarification from the league on what happened here so they aren't put in that situation again. At the moment, I'm not sure the reputation of this coaching staff could take another hit like that. For A to Z Sports Nashville, I'm Easton Freeze.